adjustment. I think we can call the Parks and Recreation Committee meeting to order at 6:30 on Wednesday, November 20th. Can we tell if we have anyone joining us or it's not obvious?
It would tell us if
Okay.
there's like another participant
Okay.
down at the bottom.
It says one so far.
Yeah, so that's
Just
just
us.
us. That's the owl.
Great. I'm happy if you want me to just run through
Why?
things I have in front of
Yeah.
me. Any adjustments to the agenda?
No.
Okay.
No,
Any public comment? I'm gonna take that as a no. Approval of the minutes from the previous meeting?
I
We,
motion to approve.
well, I don't even know if we have.
We
Formal
don't, they were in
minutes.
our brain.
Okay, so we will have that for next meeting. And then new agenda items were some project ideas and then some miscellaneous ideas. So for project ideas, we have rain gardens, rose garden, and parks and rec map and tour. So I don't know if we want to talk about rain gardens first.
Yeah, so
Oh, I guess one should take minutes of some sort, huh? I can
you got the
take
pen and
notes,
paper.
yeah.
I was gonna take it on my phone, but
so I actually stopped by City Hall last week because I had to check on our liquor application. And popped into Nicholas's office to chat with him, to run some of our ideas by him to see if like anything was flagged. He really liked the idea of the rain garden, the rain gardens. And then at the partnership annual meeting last night, they were talking about trying like new activities to bring to like the farmers market night that's in City Hall Park.
very cool.
And I think like trying to coordinate like community planting with farmers market nights, like getting people down into the area would be really nice.
So would we play an active role, or is this saying that they want to take it on, or just kind of have the farmers market night be a time when
I think it would
gathers
allow
people?
us to like share marketing and to like have a bigger community perception at farmers market, which helps like promote it too, because I know that they'd like to see it grow. City Hall Park is kind of at like the tip of the flood zone, really.
Mhm.
So I think we would just need to identify other areas where rain gardens would be like beneficial. But I don't know what the plan is for like First, Second, Third Street. They showed the buyout map of things that are pending at the last city council meeting too, so we wouldn't want to plant something that then gets
Right,
like bulldozed.
yeah, would be counterproductive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we
And
could always start where we know is gonna stay, which is City Hall Park,
Yeah,
probably Courier Park.
yeah,
Around the auditorium.
yeah, and
It's not in the flood zone. but-
Courier Park does have an
yeah.
example of a rain garden
Even
in
better.
one of its corners, so we can take a look at that. And I think the Barre Gardening, Flat Granite City Gardening group did that one. I have no idea how to get in touch with them.
And I thought this might be the case, the state of Vermont, UVM and the Winooski watershed conservation district all have like rain garden manuals, which
Yeah.
probably is more like, here's specifically how you build one. But I bet they could help us identify, or even like maybe the Barre Rivers group, like,
Yeah.
I know they work on rivers, but it's probably like watershed.
Yeah,
I would love to get the schools involved too. 'Cause
Yeah,
I know
totally.
the elementary school has their gardening club,
oh,
Berrytown has one.
yeah,
You know, it'd also be a great way to involve the community and create something that, you know, our kids can really get involved with.
timing wise, I don't know when the first like kind of if we work backward from when the
Mhm.
actual planting would happen, when, the farmer's market starts for the season. And or, I don't know, do we coordinate this with like Green Up Day or do it on a weekday so schools are involved? Or is there any kind
Yeah.
of natural time, both literally and figuratively, a natural time to do it?
So if we want the garden to be primarily perennials,
Mhm.
which I just think is good for the environment. You know, we're getting really close to the end of fall bulb planting season, so we
Mhm.
probably don't want to plan for that. So you'll have a spring bulb planting, which is right after ground thaws, which is gonna be before
Farmers.
farmer's market. So we could,
Before May, I think, before the first weekend in May?
it's gonna be like late April, early May, because those bulbs still need like their,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's like a gestation period, but they still have to sit. But if we plan to do like a spring planting, we can do kind of like layers of native plants that like change with the growing seasons. So like start with bulbs and then, you know, things like hydrangeas and then like aster or something like that on top of it would take us all the way through, um, would take us through the fall with
Mhm.
growth.
Okay. I mean, maybe there's just too much going on Green Up Day and it's more about trash collection, but I'm just trying to again think of like any kind of natural time when people are already gathering, but
Yeah.
again, maybe they're just too busy.
No, I mean, I think I feel like Green Up Day could do both too.
Yeah, cause that's also a part of, cleaning up all the,
Yeah.
winter muck and all
Yeah.
that stuff too.
Just reading if it says there's like any clear time to do it, but it doesn't, I think what you just laid out makes sense.
I think, yeah, I think it's all dependent on the plants that we would plant, and I haven't been down to that corner in Courier Park for a while.
I guess if there's a manual too to how to build one of these rain
Mhm.
gardens, maybe we
Yeah.
could pull that first and see what they suggest for plants.
Yeah.
And then we can go from what the plants really, garden club would be a great,
Mhm. Yeah.
resource for that.
So maybe look at the manual for the when and the where.
Mhm.
And then I was just looking at Easter is on Sunday, April 20th. So, I mean, we don't need to have like a specific date locked in, but
Right.
ballpark, like that gives us like the 27th.
Yeah.
There's not gonna be 31 days and then first 2 weekends of May before Mother's Day and before,
I think shooting for the
Memorial Day.
last week in April is a good like target
okay.
date.
I would agree with that.
As long as that's not, as long as we don't get like late
Right.
snow. Like we probably
Yeah.
need like a backup date a little later in May, but if we're able to like get into the ground.
Sounds good. And then I guess we would need to do this on public land, or in a park,
Yeah.
which would be public land. So maybe once we figure out like, oh, the good places to plant rain gardens are
Mhm.
this kind of, from the manual, like ecologically where it makes sense. And then
Mhm.
maybe asking the city, for where in the city we're allowed to do
Right.
that. Okay, great.
With
And-
in mind that we're trying to be as, this is something to kind of help out with, some
Mhm.
watershed and the flooding.
Yeah.
So we really wanna make this project a part of,
Yeah.
helping the city with that.
Yeah.
And then we need to figure out if we have a budget.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I have no idea if we have a budget.
I don't know if I was too worried about it. I mean, it's always great to know that.
Right.
I think we're all in agreement that we're trying to make it as,
Right.
thrifty as possible, I guess.
Yeah. Yes, we'll just need a plan for bulbs, because bulb splits usually. I mean, people could be splitting bulbs in the spring, so seeing if people are doing that and if they have extra to donate.
Mhm.
As long as we just don't end up with like a bucket of hostas
Yeah.
and like only hostas.
Fish sausages are nice.
Hostas are great,
They're very hearty.
yeah.
The garden club does like their annual sale. I don't know how that works, like if they have leftovers at the end, or if we could buy from them at cost or something like that. Let's see.
I feel bad saying this because we're being recorded, but I don't think the garden club pays as much attention to perennials versus annuals because things get changed out quite a bit.
Right.
And so I'd like us to be like focused on like good sustainable gardens that can like
I agree.
repollinate themselves and
Yeah,
like will come back without people having to give them a ton of TLC.
Yeah, exactly. Perennials are way easier to work with.
Yeah, and then if you do have things like bulbs, you know, they can be harvested and split and then
Right.
go towards like new garden plots.
Okay.
So,
yeah. It looks like in pastures, they have the sale at the end of May.
yeah,
Too late anyway. I don't know where they get, if they're getting donations or whether they.
yeah, I
order.
don't know.
Or maybe, I don't know how this works. I don't know how many places give donations, but like there's high mowing seeds in Vermont. I don't know if they
Mhm.
sell bulbs and if they would donate bulbs to us.
That
Or
would be-
gardener supply or
Right.
other kind of social.
If they have like Vermont native things, we could also check with VPERG
Mhm.
if they have like native seeds.
Yeah, okay. So sounds like we're getting in on the when, the where, the how much. Are there kind of, and I don't need to be, sorry, directing this conversation, are there milestones, like if we work backward? Like, we should be advertising this a month out, 2 months out, we should therefore have a flyer this far out. Like, it seems so far away right now,
Yeah.
but I'm just wondering if they're,
Yeah, that creeps up quick.
yeah, especially we're just meeting once.
I think our first thing would be trying to figure out where our first plot
Mhm.
would be so that we know how much needs to be covered,
Mhm.
like what our square footage is. Think about like what those layers are and then like determine how many bulbs, how many seeds within each layer that we would need. Cause I think rain gardens need to be fairly dense. So doing
Mhm.
like a multi-season planting would help with that like water catchment.
Yeah, and I don't even know, like, is this something, to be honest, I think I need a better understanding. I know generally about why should we build rain gardens, and I imagine like
Yeah.
for the public, if we can keep it really simple and like clear and direct. So I'm sure there's good stuff online about that,
Yeah.
but like,
I think
do we,
DNC has a guide,
who?
DNR, sorry, Department of Natural Resources.
Okay, yeah, I think there's DC and A.
Did you say UVM might have one?
Yeah,
too?
they have a manual. Like, do we plant these on a rolling basis? Or like we just kind of do one, or like this is like a 1 day event and all the rain gardens get planted, or I guess we could do
I
either.
think we can do like a garden,
Mhm.
see what comes out. But to do like a multi-seed planting, you take it just like a little bit deeper, you layer in your bulbs first, I think. And then you like cover with soil and then you do like another layer of seed, cover with soil, and then like another layer of something. But I think I'm getting that order wrong. But that way you have growth in like every season.
Oh,
And because they're at like different levels, their root systems don't get in the way of each other as they're like all trying to grow.
Hearing you talk about this, the more I wanna get the schools involved.
Mhm.
Like, I would love to make this more than a 1 day thing.
Mhm.
This could be like a study throughout the year.
Yeah,
And this could be not only, the garden clubs, this could be science class, this could be biology class.
Yeah.
And this could get our kids involved. And really being the ones that are actually,
Yeah,
doing this.
I agree.
So I think the manual, we figure out from there what the manual says. We find that plot. We can talk to my kids are still in school, so I can talk to some of the teachers.
Yeah,
Um,
you're the only one out of us.
Good connection to have.
We have counts.
Same difference.
Yeah.
They're just.
They
as
wanna be
easy as-
fed,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. They all have different personalities and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Great, so look at manual, identify where we do this, what kind of the needs would be,
Mhm.
square footage. Talk to the schools, so I think those are probably good next steps.
Mhm.
And then kind of smaller things is like, do we have any money to do this? If not, where
Right.
would we get that or where to get the supplies?
Mhm.
How much money we need?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And then see if we can partner up with the farmers markets potentially like down the road. Something else one of you said reminded me of something. I don't remember. Oh, do they need to be other than like I don't do anything with my flowers unless it hasn't rained in a while, but like, do these need to be actively like watered or maintained, or are they pretty hands off and maybe like end of season clean them up?
Finding things that are like drought resistant is
Mhm.
probably gonna be in like our best bet, but if.
You mean like
most-
hospice?
Oh, but yeah, it's like a hosta, but I don't know. Well, they're so temperamental though too. Like if they're in like too full of sun, they'll just like shrivel up and fry.
True.
I actually just don't enjoy a hosta.
Yeah, I don't like daylilies.
I'm
Too
not
many
a
of them.
daylily fan either. Anyway, but bulbs are good because usually they don't need as much water.
Okay.
But Vermont native seeds should be our best bet in general.
Mhm.
Because they're like so adapted to the climate that they should be able to thrive.
Great. So
Yeah.
maybe like at most, like end of season, we do some putting the gardens to bed, if
Mhm.
that. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Anything else we should talk about? Oh, I guess who can do what? If the steps are, look at the manual, idea a plot and talk to schools. It sounds like we
Well,
need your help with talk to
Yeah, I'll
schools.
talk to the schools.
Kat, do you have a preference between the other two?
I'm like so overloaded.
Yeah, and I think we
things
have
right now.
time for sure.
I will
Yeah.
talk to the schools and I will find the manual. I know you're overly busy right
I
now.
can send
And I
you.
want you to focus on
I'm
that.
like
Yeah,
brain glitching.
I am super excited to
Great.
see everything you're doing, so.
Oh, thank you.
Great, and I guess maybe once we look at the manual, I'm happy to help like liaise as far as finding a plot or thinking about square footage and, yeah, great, okay.
Yeah, and I have some like in tune gardening buddies that I think would be like good local consultants on like what would be the like our best plants to put in the ground.
Yeah,
I might have a rake in my shed too.
Right.
I have no
That I
great
can-
thumb whatsoever.
Yeah. We share a lawnmower.
Yeah.
Which Nick has a proposal that we buy our own battery.
Oh.
So then that way
That's a good idea.
we're never like one of us without a charge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that, we should talk.
I know.
Great, I think that takes us to Rose Garden, let me just double check, Rose Garden.
That one. I think we need to reach out to Ginger to
Okay,
see if she's still interested in it, cause if not. The rain garden is probably most beneficial
Mhm.
for the community. So unless someone else is able to like really take the lead on the rose garden, our efforts are probably better spent creating like more of the rain gardens for.
Sounds good.
I agree, and I
Yeah.
think, we can build upon, well, any other type of gardens
Yeah,
after.
Yeah, I mean, roses are good in that they're kind of like a set it, forget it if you get like the right
That's a
zone,
good point, yeah.
but, they're not inexpensive.
yeah, and like, if these two activities would probably be at the same time and kind of
Mhm.
reach the same audience, maybe, yeah, I agree with maybe just
Yeah.
choosing one or the other. I definitely don't mind reaching out to Ginger, I just wanna make sure, do you prefer to?
No.
Okay, I think I have an email, I think I'm on an email chain, or I have her email, so I can do that.
I mean, I can give you her phone number, but
Okay.
yeah.
Sounds good. There's nothing else on that. I just added Parks and Rec map and tour, and I was thinking also I should have added like calendar. So for me, this is
Yeah.
just kind of like level setting, like you've just moved to Barre, or you've lived here 30 years,
Mhm.
and you're like, I don't even know what the parks are, what the recreation is.
Yeah,
So I don't know if that sounds of interest.
Nicholas was really excited about the idea of a map
Oh, great.
with all of the different parks and like what's available at the park.
Okay.
Yeah, I love that idea, cause I'm looking online
Mhm.
and the cow pasture, for goodness sake,
Yeah,
is a big, beautiful piece of land that's part of our community.
Yeah,
I had no clue about it until we, talked about Parks and Rec.
I know about it. To be honest, I actually don't know where it is.
It is literally walking distance from my house.
oh, wow.
Oh, nice.
Wouldn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
I've been
Um,
there, but I never know exactly where it starts and where it ends. So
Yeah.
I
And by
just
no
feel like there's a
means
lot.
am I saying that as any disrespect to anybody running it, but I think if we can help
Yeah.
really promote this and get more people there,
Yeah.
well, and cow pasture has its own committee.
Mhm.
yes.
So maybe doing the map, we can team up with
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
group.
Mhm. Now, it's kind of taking a look at some of our other parks around the area, which they've done a great job of
Mhm.
redoing and whatnot.
Mhm.
So I think it would be doing a disservice to not tell people where they aren't.
Yeah. And then I don't know what I meant by tour, if it meant like us doing like an afternoon and like going to different places, or if
That
I
would be
meant
fun.
like, hey, you can pick up a map or like a
Mhm.
bingo card from the city
Mhm.
and then see how many places you can go to, or we have a day, maybe in the future when we have our feet under ourselves more, to be like,
Mhm.
oh, hey, like there's gonna be face painting in this park, there's gonna be music in this park, there's gonna be something else. So it's like a tour of your own kind of city.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. So
That would be
like
awesome for a
organize an
heritage festival.
activity.
Yeah, that could, yeah,
Yeah.
and like just really simple, like nothing crazy, but just like,
Right,
or if a winter, like hot chocolate, or there's gonna be popsicles here, and it doesn't
Yeah.
all have to be kid focused, but adults like popsicles and music and.
especially at Rotary Park. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a great
Mhm.
spot for
Yeah.
that type of stuff.
Yeah, and like, yeah, maybe, or maybe it's almost like a scavenger hunt, I don't know.
Yeah,
So, I don't have any grand plans per se, but maybe we start with the map.
Yeah.
I don't have any amazing map making. I'm not a cartographer, but I'm happy to
Yeah.
at least like try to gather a list, and maybe I share that with Nicholas, or I don't know who, if maybe in
You know-
Stephanie's files, they
well,
know. Oh,
you
yeah.
know, Lisa Leota made a really cute
Mm.
map of downtown for Pride.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know.
But I
that's her.
wonder
Yeah.
if she would be able to take something like the map on the wall,
Yeah,
but to make it like colorful or,
yeah,
more pretty.
right, it should be like fun.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, I'll try to gather, I mean, I bet it exists, or big chunks of it somewhere. Here's a list of
Yeah.
our parks, here's a list of
Or
whatever.
maybe even the partnership has something that
Yeah.
maybe it's old.
Yeah,
Mhm.
is there a Barry Parks and Rec or Rec website? Like most of their cities, what have a Parks and Rec department? Like I was looking at
It's part of the
Waterbury's the other
city of
day.
Barry.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is a calendar that is
Mhm.
online.
But you can't like register your kids for soccer
No.
online, non-school soccer, okay. Cause I may just look what other places have as well to. like-
Maybe we can find something simple to at least, you're talking about soccer, that would be BYSA.
Yeah,
At least we'd be able to like link it to
Yeah.
BYSA.
right,
There's nothing wrong with doing something with Facebook or Insta.
yeah,
Right,
like one stop
We kind of
shop,
talked about it
at least.
before, and
Yeah.
it's free and
yeah,
And we can, I mean, again, maybe we're like speaking in echo chamber, but like even on Instagram, we could do like stories of like, hey, we're here in Rotary Park, hey, we're here in this other
Mhm.
place, so like just exposing more people to it.
I would like that to be shared from the
City.
city's Instagram
Yeah.
account, like
Mhm.
that. This town has such segregated, like, communication channels.
yeah, that's a good point.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, like even Heritage Fest has a separate account from the partnership,
Yeah,
And it's a partnership that puts it on.
yes.
Okay.
So I think the more we can help consolidate and like have good
Mhm.
content that's
Yeah.
shared by like those different groups would be good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, because they already have the following too.
right.
Like the partnership has over 7,000
Wow.
followers,
yeah.
which is like quite a substantial chunk of
For a
the,
town of 8,000, yeah.
right, yeah. That, you know, that's probably like the strongest way to like share it, but to ask, you know, if Tracy posts it, to like try to ask City of Barre to be a collaborator
Mhm.
so that it shows up as like a post from both.
Yeah. So it sounds like map first,
Mhm.
which may or may not include a tour of checking places out, like I'm kind of just curious of ourselves. And then maybe an event based on the map, like a
Mhm.
day where, you know, open parks day or something.
Yeah,
And then maybe I think I'd focus on that, and I'd love help if people wanna help,
Mhm.
but then also like, I'd show like a calendar so people can like anticipate like what's coming up, not to lock ourselves into an entire year of events that
Yeah.
we're like, what were we thinking? But like, are there a few anchor events?
yeah, so there are calendars for Parks and Rec amenities.
Mhm.
On the city's website. So like here in Alumni Hall, there's a calendar for the rooms in Alumni Hall. There's a
Mhm.
calendar for the Boar and for the Odd.
Okay,
I
yeah.
don't know if it's, and there is actually one for the park, because I saw somebody's family reunion at like the Rotary Park Pavilion.
Yeah,
Um, so those are on there, but they're also like individual
Yeah.
calendars.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it would look like
Mhm.
to change that. I don't know what powers it.
Yeah, and I'm even thinking more so like our own planned events.
Mhm.
But I hear you on like, not just adding another calendar to the mix,
Right.
being like, here's another thing. Okay,
Yeah.
we can poke around.
Yeah, I think you bring up a very good point too, because we're trying to, create this community bond again.
Mhm.
Instead of being separate, we're together.
Yeah.
And, that's just like a small thing we can do to kind of
Mhm.
hopefully get us in the right direction.
Yeah. And maybe tag teaming those events with the partnership.
Yeah.
Or with like Rainbow Bridge or like
Mhm.
other organizations in town that are also like really big on community. That already have like good followings.
Yeah.
Because it would stink to be like, you know, come to Courier Park for face painting and fairy day or something, and then no one shows up.
Yeah, right, we shouldn't divide the limited
Yeah,
audience.
use the resources.
Yeah,
Yep.
I agree.
So I think we can kind of like brainstorm a fun event, maybe like once a quarter
Mhm.
to start
Yeah.
and figure out who in town we would team up with.
Mhm.
What some options could be for like themes of those events, or like what the activity would be that speaks to that community partner. And then figure out who we would contact with the community partner, and I can do that. So if we say that like our first, event is maybe going to be like a late winter event, like a February thing.
Yeah,
I can kind of go off of that schedule.
okay, great. So I'll check on the map. And then I'll see what there is for the calendars online. And then should we talk like the nitty gritty of what these events might be at the next
We could
meeting?
also ask Rob.
Okay. Oh,
Michelle's
yeah,
Rob.
yeah, okay,
Mhm.
great.
For the map, our friend's husband is like a really talented illustrator.
Excellent.
That maybe he would feel like engaged with that, because they
Yeah.
have kids that love to go to the parks.
And the bike path is fixed.
Yeah.
Yay. But like,
Cute.
how many people know there's a bike path in Barre? Maybe
I actually
anything.
did not until you just said that.
Yeah, it's short, but it's sweet. Yeah,
Still worth talking about.
yeah, right, and together, like there's.
We
quite a
could
bit.
have a bicycle parade.
Yeah, yeah, we could do lots of
That would be super cute.
cool things, like it's very manageable, it's not like a 20-mile bike.
Yeah.
Great, anything else on Parks and Rec map and tour?
The parks part of our agenda,
Hmm?
the parks part of our agenda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the other topic was the use of the auditorium and the BOR.
Yeah, so when I went and sat with Nicholas, I was like telling him about these things that we were talking about, he's like, that's great. Let's talk about the rec portion. So rentals for the city are like very down.
Rentals of the space, you mean?
For the auditorium?
The auditorium and for the board. So ice is down now in
Mhm.
the board.
Mhm.
And it is booked like a lot of nights for hockey league. But after they laid the turf this last year, it pretty much just went unused.
The turf.
Mhm.
No,
And part of it is they have like bocce league, but it's at like 10 AM in the morning.
well, I think the other part is, are we still looking for a Parks and Rec director?
Mhm. Yeah, this is the one that's gonna be the hardest, cause his ask to us was to think about whether or not we thought, people would want to do leagues. And I said, well, how would the league get in or out of the building? And he was like, well, we have trusted people that we give with keys. And I was like, yeah, but would like one of the committee members be like those trusted people?
Yeah.
And that is in fact the case.
Mhm.
So I don't know, like, I definitely don't have bandwidth that for the foreseeable future to like man a
Right.
league or organize.
I mean, that'll be fine when we finally get like actually 4 to how
Yeah.
many seats available.
Right,
And multiple committees.
yeah,
We can also look at other people that are trusted for that stuff.
yeah. I mean, maybe recruitment is what we need to talk about more.
Recruitment, also maybe getting the town council involved with that,
Mhm.
let's include them as well as helping us open that up.
Yeah, I mean, I can post on like the Barre Facebook groups. To say that like we would love to have more people on the Parks and Rec committee, so that we can do more.
I would love to have league nights, silly stuff, I would love to get floor hockey again.
Yeah,
Cause that's something a middle-aged, out of shape guy like myself could do.
well, I asked him, I was like,
I don't even know
Can-
what leagues there would be, yeah.
well, I asked him, I was like, well, what about like broom hockey?
Yeah,
And I was like, would you be okay if people were on the ice with like just their shoes? Because there are not rental skates.
right,
Oh,
So like if someone wants to have like a hockey birthday party,
yeah.
there are no skates to rent.
Mhm.
The city sold them like years ago.
right, well, they got them at, God, what's the sports place? I love that place.
Zachary's.
No,
Here-
over by Arnell. The hockey place. God, I can't
Oh,
remember the name of
wow.
it.
The hockey
And I feel,
ones?
In-
yeah, you
in
can
Barre?
rent skates in Barry, yes.
What?
I'm gonna have to look it up.
By the
It's driving me
arcade
nuts.
place?
Yeah,
Oh,
if anybody was online, they'd be yelling at me right now.
I don't know.
It is, I'm gonna tell you where it is. It is an awesome, just little, like, you walk in and it's like the 90s. When you walked into a sports store again.
Yeah,
And everybody there is awesome, customer
Uh-huh.
service is awesome, all the hockey players go there. And you can rent skates there, that's who they sold them to. And they
oh,
also, sharpen the skates there and whatnot.
yeah, okay.
They sell used equipment as well, so people can move
I'm
out.
looking for my skates.
Yeah. So yeah, he would like us to think about if there's opportunities for different leagues, like cornhole league.
Ferguson's.
Oh, I have heard that before.
Yeah, place is awesome, and that's who does all the skates in the
Okay.
area.
And so it's ice all winter and then it's
Ice all
turf
winter.
sometime in the spring.
Mhm.
And when
But then also the odd, which I don't know what that means with the basketball team that's coming
Oh, good
in.
point.
Mhm.
There's also a new baseball team that is gonna be in Barre called the Mallards. That's
Where
part
are they
of
gonna be
like,
playing?
at the Barre Town Park.
Okay,
it is funny to like read about their rules because they're kind of like, we don't agree with some of like the newer safety rules in baseball, like they allow like headfirst dives or like,
Okay.
which is fine, but it's rules for a reason.
And does he mean rentals are down, rentals where they charge?
Yeah.
And so it's a revenue thing, so it's not just like planning free activities.
Correct. I
So
think
we're,
he would like to see some revenue, but he said if, you know, if there were actual leagues, I think he said that they would donate the, like, the space for a league, like, as a way to just bring more activities into the community and have the spaces be used.
okay, so more about.
How about
mostly
we plan a tournament?
I know, I think a slam dunk tournament would be really cool.
I was thinking maybe for, like, I know Berry City played, was it Williamstown?
Oh, yeah,
Why don't we have like a multi-city tournament of some sort? Could be basketball, it could be floor hockey. And specifically, it could be with town council or
yeah,
police department or the
Oh,
fire
yeah.
department.
yeah.
Yeah,
It could be a donated thing just to actually get people in the auditorium.
I don't know that I've ever actually been in the auditorium when it is not voting. I
Good
don't
point.
actually know what it looks like when bleachers are pulled out.
It's like your old school, high school gym. Well, it is a high school gym, but it's, it is a nice space. I know they're working on getting some other amenities in it, like air conditioning, which is really gonna help with that. But in the meantime, it would be great to get it up and running again where people are in and out of it
Yeah,
at all times.
this is the part that feels the hardest to me because the gardens, you can do like such a small thing. And then at the end of the day, you're like, we did that. We came here today
yeah,
and we finished.
finite.
We did this thing. where-
So, I didn't mean to
No,
interrupt,
no.
but we're also the Parks and Rec Committee.
Mhm.
There is an auditorium committee and there's 9 of them. And I know they're doing a great job of also planning out some stuff. So, I mean, I don't mind focusing some time here,
Mhm.
but let's also this also kind of goes back to what I was thinking for the other
Mhm.
part is what is our responsibilities as the
Yeah.
Parks and Rec Committee? Because there is the auditorium committee,
Mhm.
there is the cow pasture committee.
Right.
And again, I would love to work with all of them,
Mhm.
but what do you want us to be in charge of?
Yeah.
Well, and maybe that's for the city to decide, but one other thing
Mhm.
is, and I know we probably don't want just like another meeting, but anyway, at some point we could meet maybe with representatives from some of them, so we're not just all
Yeah.
kind of talking in these different silos and like
We need to,
doing things, so.
yeah, especially if Nicholas is asking us to, come up with some
Yeah.
ideas and I totally love it. You know, that's what we're here for, is kind of help
Yeah.
with ideas. But I also don't want to step on the auditorium committee's toes.
I just feel like we can do so much more as a group. Like with some of the committees, like in conjunction with
Mhm.
working with the partnership, because the partnership has certain connections of people who will donate.
Yeah.
Like some resources or time, or they know people in town that they're like, oh, well, you know, like 20 years ago, that was Stan did that thing.
Mhm. And
You
also
know?
just with limited capacity and people that want a lot of volunteer roles, it's nice to, yeah, not be
Mhm.
coming up, like, cause I was thinking like. I'm more of a activities person, not like
Right.
sports leagues and not as much in gardens,
Yep.
but I'm like, we could just have a movie night at the auditorium. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, but. They do that, you know,
It's a great
this
idea,
summer, at
actually.
least in Courier Park, but could we
Mhm.
involve the partnership or like, how do
Yeah.
we not
Yeah.
just make it a just us
We
thing?
have a 20-foot inflatable screen now.
Like
for
the cold
club.
winter, you know, afternoons, we could just have like,
Can we do that in
popcorn
the
and-
VOR
yeah,
with
Mhm.
the turf?
Mhm.
This is, we could do like a picnic. night,
yeah.
you
Yep.
know?
We would need to get sponsors to pay for the licensing rights.
Mhm.
Oh,
So even if we didn't charge tickets, you still have to pay for licensing. That's a
Even, I know we've talked about this, if you have a really old movie, can you show like The Wizard of Oz or something from the thirties for free? Is it in public
would
domain?
If it's in public domain, yes, so we could show like.
I would
Steve
love to
Willie.
do an Alfred Hitchcock.
Yes.
I don't know if a lot of people know this, but he actually filmed a film in Vermont.
I know, I don't think. I
And
know
the
that.
opening of the film was at the Paramount.
Oh,
Yeah, it's something about Harry.
It wasn't one of his best films, but it's still part of Barry history.
World premiere.
There's signs, I think, at
Shirley
Cornerstone.
MacLaine's first.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so maybe we do some themed
That would be kind
movie
of cool during
nights.
Halloween.
Yeah, that just,
Kind of love to build on that little thing that Barry's starting to do with the Scary Barry thing.
yeah,
And a movie night would be awesome with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I mean, I guess you can pull in the bleachers, maybe kids or anyone can sit down on the floor, you could bring, you know, a blanket, I don't know if you
I
can
think
eat
they
in the
have
auditorium.
a screen in there. I think there's a screen that comes down behind
Oh.
the stage.
You might be right, yeah.
Yeah,
That'll be great. Okay, so maybe,
yeah. So we have one if we wanted to ever do like an outdoor movie night, but I
Yeah.
think they do have one.
We can kind of promote an outdoor movie night
Is it-
inside with the turf,
yeah,
Yeah.
which would be a great way to let people know we have turf.
yeah.
Yeah,
DOR too.
It's too bad that in some ways that the turf isn't there in the winter, where you could be like, feel like you're outside in the
Yeah.
winter and
You
have a
kind of got a
picnic.
point, because indoor soccer in the winter time would be perfect too.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we have some ideas, I guess the do outs I wrote down, but let me know if I've missed anything, kind of more generally speaking, should we talk about recruitment for this committee?
Mhm.
Could we do a tournament? What are our responsibilities in our jurisdiction? So the do out from that would be to connect with other committees. And then the idea of maybe doing a movie night. So a lot of more questions and ideas. I think maybe the only thing that's like actionable is meet with the other committees, or do you want to take action on anything else there?
Well, I would like to chat, this is kind of like separate, but I would like to chat with the cemeteries committee.
Oh, yeah, because that's split from us, right?
It did split, like it split when we joined. So
Mhm.
I would love to know if any of them have insight into what
Yeah.
they did.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think this committee was ever defined
Yeah.
well, when the split happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it used to be cemeteries, parks, and historic preservation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone has historic preservation anymore.
I guess if you're in the odd committee, you do historic preservation. For
Yeah.
that,
Hopefully
but-
somebody preserved it.
Yeah.
I know.
I don't mind doing it, but thoughts on reaching out to the other committees? I assume their emails are online or Nicholas can connect us.
I have connections with the auditorium committee.
Okay, great.
I don't know anybody, but I was on an email with committee chairs at one point,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
probably something we need to talk about, because we don't have a chair. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Right now I can't.
That's a good point,
Yeah.
yeah,
You know, we could
all right.
rotating chairs, or we don't need one, I'm good. I feel
Yeah,
like
if we
we're
don't-
small enough.
If we don't
That's a good
have to
point.
have one, then I think that's fine. Unless you just. want to be
Yeah,
the
we should,
chair.
yeah.
You wanna be the chair?
Why are you guys looking at me? What? I mean, I don't know, I just,
We
It's a
can
lot
all
of pressure.
noodle on it,
There you
it's a
go.
takeaway.
Yeah.
Noodle on it
Oh.
if we need a chair.
we put our business cards on the table
Right. Oh,
during the meeting, whoever picks it, that's the chair for
Yeah.
that meeting.
Oh, for that meeting.
There you go.
Let's see if I can find, oh, someone wrote back about no virtual meetings. Someone doesn't seem to really like it. Can committees meet without remote access, i.e. physical location only? I think that's a no.
Hmm.
Oh, but that should have gone out
To, is it
to
what
all the
BCC'd
peoples.
or?
I don't know.
Huh. Okay, well,
I will forward that to both of you.
How about we can email Nicholas, because maybe we should also let him know, so I don't think we need to ask, but let him know we are hoping to convene these folks. And if we can't find the emails, we can ask him then and say, you know, Josh probably has a connection with the
Mhm.
auditorium committee, but can we meet with cow pasture and cemeteries as well?
Yeah, and Amanda probably knows
Yeah.
the right people for like on both of those committees, because I know she really wanted to like be the council advocate for Parks and Rec and cow pasture.
Okay.
But
Cool.
then Michael Deering really wanted to be involved, I think, because of the BYSA. So maybe it's not even like us recruiting, but maybe it's us inviting people that we think are relevant to the topics that we want. I mean, we should recruit in general. I can
Mhm.
do that
Mhm.
post tonight, but maybe if we know certain people ahead of time based on what we want to put on the agenda.
Yeah, I guess anybody can attend a meeting, right?
Yeah, like maybe we literally just invite certain people.
Okay,
We can even do like a call to action, like Parks and Rec is meeting this week to talk about this. If you are interested,
Yeah.
you know, here's how you can participate.
Yeah, even with the agenda, it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of implied that you can attend, but there's like
Mhm.
public comment, but like, hey, did you know you could just drop in?
Right.
So,
it is kind of implied, but I think people kind of forgot about that over the years.
Right.
yeah, right.
And I would love to get anybody's idea.
But if we did do
so-
it at Cornerstone, we could get a crowd. Instead of
we
meeting,
could.
For sure.
but yeah.
Or
Or
maybe
maybe
last night,
sometime.
but there's an upstairs at the quarry.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Is that where the meeting was?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, we can also meet at the club.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
You mean the Barre Social Club
Mhm.
on 105 North Main Street?
Ah.
Opening soon?
Opening soonish.
Is there anything else on the use of the auditorium and the BOR?
No.
Okay, I don't know if we just have, oh, the next meeting date, time and location. So we haven't done anything the second Wednesday, we're now on the third Wednesday. That might bring us to, that'd be December 18th. I don't know.
Cutting it close to Christmas?
Yeah, I'm staying in town, but I'm also flexible. I could do the 11th. I can also do a non-Wednesday, especially if we're not gonna be at Cornerstone, but Wednesdays
Yeah.
work too.
So the 18th is tough, kind of for the same reason tonight is tough. I didn't think about it. I have trivia tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Do you wanna do it a Tuesday night instead?
the 17th would work okay for me if that would
Yes.
work for you
Works for me.
guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And same time and place unless, or,
Oh my gosh, it's so close to the holidays. We can do it at my house.
okay. I don't know if that means you have to post your address online or if you care. I guess you can search
Let's-
you on the tax.
Let's figure that out. Yeah, good
Roll.
point.
I mean, I
Okay,
have an Instagram account for my house.
sure. Okay, so Parks and Rec meeting Wednesday, December 17th,
Mhm.
6:30. We'll plan on Kat's house.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
so that a reminder, 1 hour before, that's insufficient. So 2 days before, okay. Great, I don't even know for like adjournment and things, if we need to like have motions and how much we
Oh my
need to be
gosh,
following
motion
that.
to adjourn.
Great.
I second that.
Great. Meeting adjourned. And assuming we can get a recording of this, I took notes, but not extensive, so I can check the recording.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay,
I
and
did
I
that.
just hit end.